My model of communication is based on the communicator, life, taking it in, making a response, giving the statement, and from the beginning. I chose all of these points for a certain reason, although the book only had 3 points in their models of communication. I chose the communicator because someone has to relay a message or an idea to a certain party or a certain person. They also have to realize that that party or that person could be going through a life event. They could be going through a death in the family, an injury, or even a breakup. These events may take the communicator a little longer and may have to try a little harder to get the point across to that person or that party. For example, I myself went through a breakup pretty recently. When I talk to people, I get a little distracted because I have that breakup on my mind. I've also had an injury that the pain of that injury distracts me from what that person is saying to me. That's why the communicator just has to try a little harder because they don't know what's going on in that person's life. That takes you to taking it in. When someone is speaking to you and trying to communicate something to you, you're listening to what they're saying and you're focusing on what they're saying. But you're also taking in what they're saying. You're deciding whether you agree or disagree with what they're saying, and you're processing how they're saying it. You're also coming up with a response in your head of how you're going to respond to them. That brings us to making a response. When you're making a response, you're deciding in your head what you're going to say to someone before saying it out loud. Most people do this, but some people don't have filters. When you're making a response, you're thinking of if you agree or disagree and how you're going to get that point across to the person that you're communicating with. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're taking into consideration the life events going on. You don't want to get angry at the person you're talking to because of that breakup. You don't want to feel sad and come off as sad when you're giving your response or your argument back to the person you're talking to because of that death in your family. After you've decided how you're going to respond to that person, that's when you finally get to say all of your thoughts out loud. That's the giving the statement part. When you're saying it out loud, this is when the person can hear you. You want to make sure you're direct and you have the right tone when you're talking to the person. You want to get your point across without being rude if you disagree. If you agree, then you just tell them what you're thinking. After that, that person you're communicating with is going to process what you just said, and then they're going to go through the same process you did. They're going to take it in, they're going to make a response, and then they're going to give you your statement. That's from the beginning. You're going to start the cycle completely over again from the beginning. That other person is going to have life events going on too, and you're going to have to consider that when you're giving them your response. When they are about to give you their response, you need to understand that they have that life event. I chose all these things because when I think about communicating with someone, I take all of that stuff into consideration. I know that when I'm talking to someone and they're talking to me, I am thinking about what they're saying and how I'm going to respond to them. I don't want to come off as rude when I respond to them, but I want to get my point across to them. That's why I made my communication model the way it is.